What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Smoke MMA. Today, I'm joined by a man, a familiar face on this channel at this point. You know him, you love him, the one, the only, Tayden the Butcher Beltran.
What's
How are we
up,
doing
man?
today?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on, man.
Of course, thanks for being the first guys back. It means a lot. It's been a while and it feels good to be back with a very fun person, one of my favorite people to interview.
I appreciate you, bro.
So, actually, you're not only just my favorite person, you're the main man. You know why you're the main man? Because now your main event, Tayden Beltran.
I appreciate it, bro.
You had your
Yeah,
first
man.
main event. What was the feels like going into that first main event?
Man, it was cool. Like it just kind of showed like fruition of all my hard work. Cause
Hmm.
a year ago, prior to that fight, I was fighting on the same promotion. Before it was Thompson, and then they changed it to CBN, but same promoter, matchmaker, and I
Yeah,
wasn't even on the poster. And I mean, flash forward a year later, I'm the main event, with
yeah,
a good crowd behind me and just a good all around good show. So, it felt a lot, all the hard work I've been putting in is paying off.
that's awesome. It's like a full circle moment from being just like on the card, not even on a poster. Now you're headlining the events. Now,
Yeah.
now this was your second time going 8 rounds. What was it
hmm
feels like? Like, how do you adjust your training camp from going from those like 4 and 6 round fights to now 8 rounds? Like, what's the training difference?
Man, like I'm always training really hard. I think the
Hmm.
main difference is just the rounds that I'm putting in sparring.
Yeah.
I'm always training hard. Everything is, we do exactly what we need to do, but obviously 8 round fight, I start putting in more rounds, 10 to 12 rounds,
Hmm.
sometimes. And then so I would really say the only thing that really changed is just the amount of rounds that we're doing,
Hmm.
because when I've only fought one 6 rounder, and then after my 6 rounder I went up to a eight. But like for the 6 rounder, we weren't putting in as many rounds as we were for the 8 rounder.
Hmm.
Same thing with the 4 rounders. Because you don't want to burn out, you don't want to
Yeah.
burn yourself out. And so that was it, man. I trust my conditioning and everything. I'm responsible. I do what I gotta do. And then just like I said, man, just more rounds in the gym when it comes to the hard sparring and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got you. And then, like, because since this was your second fight going 8 rounds, did you learn anything your first time going 8 rounds? Like in the ring, the feels were a little different in those later rounds that you took into your second time going 8 rounds.
Man, it's funny, like I just know that I got the fucking conditioning.
Hell
Like
yeah.
I can go the long rounds because I remember, there's always things that pop into your head
Hmm.
when you're doing this is because like I said, I only did one 6 round. And I was like, well shit, like how different will 8 rounder be?
Hmm.
And honestly, man, it felt the same as the 6 round, just
Yeah.
because I lost track of the rounds. I was having so much fun, and I was in the moment. I wasn't tired.
Yeah.
The only time I really feel tired is when it's over. I'm like, okay, that was an 8 round fight, a tough 8 round fight. And
Yeah. Like
so,
sort of that like adrenaline dump.
yeah, exactly. Like, I think my first 8 rounder, it was a really tough opponent. He was 12-3 with 10 knockouts, but he was
Hmm.
a veteran too. And he was kind of a dirty fucker. And I remember the only fatigue that I felt in that fight was he threw a low blow and hit me right on the thigh.
Ooh.
And so my thigh was dead. Like
Yeah.
I was completely trashed. But in that fight, I'm not really paying attention to it. I just noticed that there's something wrong, but I still pushed through it. But
Yeah.
after the fight, man, I couldn't even walk for about two
Really.
days. Yeah.
So
But
like, would you say like that plays a mental toll on you? Like feeling that like, oh, is there something wrong with my leg? Or you just like through the conditioning and practice, you're kind of just used to it. You're like, ah, something's wrong. Let's just keep going.
that's exactly what it was. Like I felt it. It was the fourth round, third or fourth, I'm pretty sure. So it was early on in the fight too.
Yeah.
And I remember, I never sit in the corner. I just remember I start walking to the center of the ring, and I noticed that it felt like a dead leg. Like I
Okay.
said, like you said, the adrenaline dump. Just
Yeah.
it's there, but it's not there. If that makes
Hmm.
sense. Once the
Yeah.
punches start
100%.
flying, I don't even notice it. It wasn't
Oh
until I
yeah.
was sitting down with the doctor and I was like, oh shit, something's wrong, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, my conditioning is great. That's the only thing that I can think about when it's coming to my 8 round fights.
Yeah, I got you. And then like with him being dirty was because like you don't really deal you haven't yet dealt with too many dirty fighters. When you notice
Mm.
that they're playing a little bit dirty, do you try to think like I want to get my get back, or are you trying to stay cool, calm, and collected? Like let's stick to the game plan.
Both. Uh, if they're doing something dirty, I'm gonna do something dirty back. That's
Hmm.
the kind of fighter I am. I hate these fighters that they get hit with something that's dirty and then they're complaining about it. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, we're in a fight. As
Hmm.
much as you want to try to say otherwise, it's a fight. You got
Hmm.
guys like, no, boxing is art. Boxing is art, but you're also in the fight. So if they
Yeah.
hit me, if like he hit me in the hip a few times, I'm gonna hit him right in the hip back, and I did. And
Hmm.
for me, it was a great learning experience because of all the experience that he had. He
Yeah.
knew how to manipulate the ref, and
Really? He just
yeah,
like
that
know how to
was
play the games.
knew how to play the games. I hit him with a body shot,
Yeah.
and he went down, and then he started saying that I headbutt him.
Hmm.
And so the ref believed that I headbutt him. So then there goes a knockdown, right?
Yeah.
Now he's getting some time warning me.
Hmm.
There was also one that he called the low blow, and it wasn't a low blow.
Yeah.
Spit out his mouthpiece. Ref went to go clean the
Oh.
mouthpiece. He's in the other corner. It's actually funny. He's looking at my fiance and he starts blowing kisses at her. And
Oh
then
shit.
she flips him off, and then they're literally going back and forth with each
Yeah.
other. And just the ref is trying to get his attention. He's
Hmm.
still talking shit to my fiance, the crowd. And so just like things like that, he knew how to gain time pretty
Yeah.
much. He was recovering. And it went on for a good minute. I couldn't tell you how long, but it felt like a whole round, damn
Really.
near. But that was something like I hadn't experienced before. And I can say that I'm proud that I kept my composure. I
Yeah.
did slip. It's funny. And by the way, this is actually a really cool dude. After the fight, we were talking, and he actually apologized to my fiance,
Hmm.
right up to her. He said, "I'm sorry." But it's just part of the game. But what was I talking about? I totally lost my train of thought, man.
You
But
were talking about like how he was like blowing kisses and then how he was like
boom,
chopping it up.
yeah, chopping up, very nice guy. I'm sorry, man. I lost my train of thought. I'm all over the place.
Nah,
But
don't even worry
yeah.
about it.
Oh, what I was saying was, I kept my composure. I stuck to the game plan. The only
Hmm.
time that I failed, it was the seventh round. The round ended. He grabbed my head and he pushed it down to his hips,
Hmm.
and it kind of thrust it out my head, you
Yeah.
know. And I got upset. And I was like, "Fuck you!" And I didn't punch him hard. I just tapped him with the back of
Yeah.
my glove, and then he tapped me. Luckily, the ref took a point away from both of us.
Hmm.
So I still won the round.
Yeah.
Um, if he didn't take a point away from him, I would have lost the round.
Yeah.
So that to me was like, hey, it was like a wake up call. Like keep your composure because that easily could
Hmm.
have been his round.
Yeah.
Luckily they took it away from both of us. But
Hmm.
that's the only, that I've never experienced an opponent like that. And the knockouts aren't coming for me right now, but the experience is for sure.
Yeah.
And so I'd rather have these long, grueling fights and gain the experience, and then the knockouts are going to definitely start coming.
Oh, 100%. But then like backtracking a little bit to when you were saying like your composure, a big thing I've been talking about with a lot of my friends from back home who are on the wrestling team is mental toughness and mental strength. And so
Mm.
I was just wondering, what do you do to prepare yourself not only physically but mentally for a fight? Because you're going in there to fight for your life. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, man. It's I wish there was like a blueprint, and
Hmm.
I was actually thinking about this and talking about this the other day. Like, if there's a blueprint on mental toughness and how to prepare yourself, everybody would be doing it. I think it's just something that we have within ourselves, and we have to find 100%. It's God that's
Yeah.
keeping me focused and keeping me sharp. But I can't really say that I have like a routine that I go through to get there. I just know at a certain point in time before my fight, I'm locking in and I'm focused, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of just mentally preparing myself for anything that could happen. But we
Mhm.
essentially never know, until you're in there and it happens. So I'm sorry, I don't really have a solid, concrete answer for you on that one, but that's about
Nah,
it,
no
man.
worries. You got like your pre-fight ritual, then you're just locking in. Do you tend to like hype yourself up a lot, or do you try to calm yourself down before you get in the ring?
Honestly, I try to calm myself down. I just listen to music, and when it's that time to start getting ready, I'm
Mhm.
very quiet. I don't think I say one word.
Yeah.
I'm just quiet, and I'm just like you said, locked in.
Mhm.
Um, Definitely just try to keep myself calm, keep my composure, and because if I overhype myself, I get too excited and my heart rate starts going up. So I
Yeah.
try to keep my heart rate nice and mellow, and just to get out there and do what I do best.
Yeah. Every fighter's locker room looks a little bit different pre-fight. Like how you said you like to stay quiet. What are the people around you doing? Like, can you describe what the feelings like in that locker room, especially before your first main event? How does that differ from any other fight?
You know, it was definitely a little more nerve-wracking for sure.
Hmm.
Um, but as far as like my corner and my coach is the same way. He's told me in the past that his name is Eddie. And he said Eddie stays at home. He's a completely different person when he's in
Yeah.
there. And when I notice when I make that change, he makes it too.
Hmm.
When we just lock in. We had to get to the event pretty early, like hours early. And
Yeah.
we're sitting around joking, talking. I'm pretty sure I was watching a TV show on my phone. But then when it's time to start locking in, we really are locked in,
Hmm.
just very serious. Maybe crack a few jokes here and there,
Yeah.
but we're just ready to do our thing, man. It's a team effort for sure.
Yeah. Like, do you feel like the vibe almost catches on with everyone in the room? Like how you said you and your coach like on the same wavelength, but like the other people in the room, do you think they catch on too, or are they still doing their own thing while you guys are
No,
just getting ready?
they definitely catch on.
Hmm.
I think from my dad, it's when he starts wrapping my hands.
Yeah.
So like we all have like a uh something that we start doing with that lets us know like, all right, now it's time to go. You
Yeah.
know?
Sort of like that's when the switch flips.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So and then like now going while talking about behind the scenes a little bit, can you explain because it's a little confusing with like all the different promotions and the different kind fighters signed to this person, this person, this person. What goes on behind the scenes to really get a fight for X and Y promotions or like to fight up in the rankings? How does that all come together?
I just gotta for me personally, I just gotta keep chipping away.
Hmm.
Just keep performing against the opposition that I'm going against. And I know it's all gonna come within God's plan. I
Yeah.
just gotta I just gotta stay focused. My main goal is to be signed by a promotion company, and then so that getting there is a lot easier. But
Hmm.
for me right now, I'm just focused on whoever they put in front of me. I try
Yeah.
not to think too much like, all right, when is this time frame where it's gonna happen, right?
Hmm.
All I know is I got a date. My next date, I was about to say it. I can't say it yet. But like my next date, I already know I'm fighting there. I have to perform. I'm gonna perform. And
Yeah.
that's the only way I can go about it. Everything else is almost out of my control,
Yeah.
other than just performing.
So you're just like kind of just following trusting in the process, paying your dues, and you know it'll come eventually. I know it'll come eventually. You've been
I
putting the work
appreciate it.
in. Like if it doesn't come, if it doesn't come now, it's gonna come later because you guys gotta keep
100%.
putting the work in, paying the dues, and letting it happen.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome, man.
100%, man.
Now, back the last time we talked, a video of yours had gone a little bit viral of you going toe to toe with like one of your bullies from high school. Now, is that
Hmm.
still something that like not follows you, but something people still bring up to you now and like recently?
Yeah, man, like it's kind of funny. Like I'll see like randomly just like some Instagram post, or Instagram posting it,
Yeah.
and it's sometimes I'm like, damn, bro, why did I post that? Because like, like I don't mind talking about it, but it's just like I don't know. I think one of the main reasons is because everyone's like, "Oh, you beat up your high school bully,"
Hmm.
and that's kind of like what really got the attention of the video was people were captioning it,
Yeah.
"Boxer beats up his old bully," and that wasn't the case at all. Like he was harassing me on
Yeah.
social media for 3 months. Um, and he knew I stood for autism inclusion, so he
Mm,
was poking fun of that. Me thinking he was a professional fighter, which he claimed he was. Turns out he wasn't. I invited him to the gym,
yeah.
and yeah, that's kind of like it was a funny situation that happened, but yeah, it still follows me, man, like all the time. I've been to like some fight stores and then they're like, "Hey, you that guy that beat up his bully, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, but I'm also a professional boxer," you know. But
Yeah.
but I mean, it's like that's just how like the world we live in now. That's just kind of how things happen, and I really think like I'll probably in 2 months that video will probably resurface again somewhere. You
Hmm.
know, it's just one of those things. Like, look
Yeah.
at that Charlie Zelenoff dude. I don't know if you know who that is.
Charlie Zelenoff.
Yeah, you should look him up. It's pretty funny. But there's this of he basically would go to gyms and he would spar. Like I'm talking like 24-hour fitness and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And he'd spar just random people in the locker room. And he claims he's like 200 and something. Oh.
Yeah.
But he went to a gym, an actual gym, and got his ass kicked by a professional fighter. This had to be 13 years ago, and it still resurfaced all the
Yeah.
time. You know, so I really think that's probably gonna be my reality with that video.
Yeah.
Like 5 years from now, it's gonna come up again and again and again and again. But
Yeah.
yeah,
There's not much you could do about it. Like, I think what you did was great because like it really
thank
did
you.
put him in his place. But
Thank you.
but yeah, no, I was just wondering because because I was the other day like when I was literally right after I texted you to do this interview, I'm scrolling through Instagram and it came back up. I was like, damn, this was a while ago.
Yeah, it still pops up all the time, man. It's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
Like
it's cool to
it.
see.
It's cool to see, and it's also cool like the comments are very supportive towards like the autistic community
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and people with disabilities. So I, I'm I'm glad that I posted it because selfishly it gave me some attention,
Hmm.
and it also like allowed me to kind of show what I fight for. You know,
Hmm. Yeah. That's always good. Just wearing your heart on your sleeve, letting people know what it's all about.
100%.
Now, also last time we talked, we you had mentioned how you would spar with MMA fighters to like prepare them for like the stand up in their fights, and then they would just get some
Mm.
rounds in with you to help you train for your upcoming fights. Then we mentioned the idea of you possibly getting into the cage sometime. I was wondering where you would stand on that. You see that as a possibility at all?
Nah, man, I'm cool. I got skinny legs, bro. Fuck that. I can't. And like, I don't know, man. I can't see myself doing it, you know.
Yeah,
Uh, it's not something that I would want to do or like I feel like if I did pick it up, I'd be like way behind the curve, you
yeah, I
know.
gotcha.
And so, I mean, it's just now if like there were MMA fighter that want to fight me in boxing, maybe, you know, but I'm not gonna fight an MMA fighter in the cage. No, fuck that.
Yeah, no, that
But
because we've seen a lot of those crossover fights with like MMA fighters coming into boxing. It ain't been going too
hmm,
well, but we've never seen it really the other way around. Who knows? Tayden
yeah,
Beltran
because
versus UFC
I'm
champion.
I'm gonna keep 100. We as boxers know what would happen.
Yeah.
You know, I think I mean, here's the thing, like MMA fighters know that there's more boxing. Like Ngannou probably made I didn't look at all the numbers, but I'm sure he made more in
Yeah.
those two fights than he had in MMA. Now
Hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong. So like part of me is wondering, do they actually think they can, box or are they just trying to get the money?
That's the $1 million question, honestly,
Yeah.
because I don't know how true the statistic is, but I did see online Ngannou made somewhere around like 40 million for his fight with Anthony Joshua. And it's just like in his last fight with the UFC championship defense, he made like $600,000. So there's
Yeah.
like a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, dude, Francis probably his head probably blew up a little bit with his fight with Tyson Fury too.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
So, I mean, who knows? But like I see Sean O'Malley's I mean, I saw he was talking to Mayweather or not Mayweather, Garcia.
Yeah.
And but I mean, with Ryan Garcia, you never really know what's true and what's not, you know. Like I just saw he's fighting Pacquiao like in the
Yeah.
exhibition. So I don't know,
Who
but
knows anymore with them?
yeah, for real.
He's a little all over the place, but it is what it is.
But to answer your question, fuck no, I'm not getting in a cage, man. Not doing it.
My bad.
No, you good.
But speaking of Ryan Garcia and that like 135, 140 pound division, you've been bouncing around a little bit between those two, and I was just wondering where you were thinking about staying. Like now that after your 10th fight, you fought a little bit at 135, a little bit at 140. Where do you kind of see yourself staying weight wise?
I see myself staying at 35. This
Yeah.
last fight was at 35. The fight before that was only at 140 because the guy couldn't come down anymore, and it was the
Hmm.
last minute opponent.
Yeah.
Because that fight was also it was supposed to be at 136, I
Hmm.
believe. This guy couldn't get down that much. This fight I actually believe was at 144.
Hmm.
So it was a catch weight, but I wasn't sure where I was supposed to be at, so I just
Yeah.
made 140 just to play it safe. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I plan on staying at 35.
Hmm. That's a good weight class to be at. You're young still. You've had a lot of success there. Let's keep the success rolling.
100%.
Now, I want to ask you if you got any upcoming fight news, but it seems like you got a date. You just can't say nothing about it yet.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to stay under wraps for a while.
Yeah, for a little bit. I'm sure like when I get the green light to talk about it, then I will be posting about it and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Soon though, you have an idea of how many times you want to fight this year? Like how many more times this year?
I mean, right now, we're just gonna wait and see. I just have this fight that's coming up right now, and
Hmm.
that I'm just focused on that. If something comes up after, then we'll see. But right now, I just have that date, and that's all I'm focused on right now.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now I kind of want to transition a little bit into some questions just about like boxing in general because we've been kind of touching on it. So I just got a few for you, just like some general boxing current events and boxing questions.
Hmm.
So we kind of mentioned it with the crossover boxing with like MMA fighters coming into boxing, and but a lot of that has to do with the Saudi Arabians making these crazy big cards, the Turkish Allah. What is your opinion on the Saudis coming in and like sort of taking over boxing, making these crazy super cards?
I like it. I like Turkish, because he's making good fights.
Yeah.
Like Pitbull versus Ryo were on the
Hmm.
same card as Crawford. You
Yeah.
have big fights,
Yeah.
um, all in the same card. And I
Hmm.
like it. I also saw an interview where he doesn't even want to touch influencer boxing.
Yeah, not at
And
all.
so I'm like I can get down with that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that they have their own card.
Hmm.
And but like the fact that he doesn't even want to touch it, that he just loves boxing, I think is great for the sport.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's already doing some pretty good cards,
Hmm.
so I'm
Yeah, it's
excited.
all been pretty solid. But
Yeah.
also one thing he mentioned in an interview, I gotta fact check this, but I have seen it around the internet, was he wanted to buy out some of the major boxing promotions to almost make a UFC style kind of thing where it's for one belt and then a bunch of top contenders. Do you see that
Mhm.
being a reality at all with like the current state of boxing?
Um, I can't really say if I can see it happening or not.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's tough, man, because I mean, like, unless they're given a huge um price that they can't turn down,
Yeah.
like it's a lot of there's a lot more things involved than I
Hmm.
think. This has been a system that's been around for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So UFC started off as UFC, and they've built that. As far as I know, they've had that structure since they've been a thing.
Yeah.
With like it'd be kind of hard to change it now when it's
Yeah.
already been this way for so long. So who
Gotcha.
knows? If it can make the sport better, then I genuinely hope it happens. If it would make the sport bad, then I hope it if it turns out to not be as great for the sport, then I hope it doesn't happen. I just want
Gotcha.
what's good for boxing.
Yeah. And then finally, speaking of like boxing and UFC and all of them, UFC and boxing are going head to head this weekend with Sean O'Malley fighting Merab and Canelo fighting Edgar Berlanga, both in Vegas, down the street from each other. Which event do you feel is gonna perform better?
I think Canelo.
Yeah.
I genuinely think so because I mean, who doesn't like watching Canelo?
Yeah.
I mean, every time Canelo fights, it's a packed arena, you
Hmm.
know. So I think honestly, I could see both of them being pretty packed. Is this UFC one supposed to be at the Sphere
Yeah. They're
or
at the Sphere this weekend.
got you? So I don't know. That's also crazy because that's the first one at the Sphere, right?
Yeah,
I
it's the
don't follow
first
UFC
UFC and
too much.
fighting event at the Sphere.
Yeah. So I mean, like that could also bring in a lot of attention too, you know.
Hmm.
But I think Canelo just because of the people that he brings, and he always has a packed arena. It'd be
Yeah, I
interesting
agree.
to see how it happens though.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun night of fights this weekend for sure.
Mhm.
Now, finally, I want to end off our interview with a little section I like to call humanizing the fighter. I'm just gonna ask you a bunch of questions, like getting to know you questions about you, just to see, like, get to know who the fighter is. Who is Tayden Beltran? Not the butcher, but Tayden Beltran.
Got you. All right, man. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
So first off, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Uh, damn, dude. Probably No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men. I never seen it.
Yeah.
What's it about?
It's basically about there's one guy finds drug money,
Hmm.
holds on to it. Another guy is trying to obtain the drug money along
Hmm.
with other people. And then there's a cop more investigating what's going on because they're kind of leaving a shit show throughout the trying to get it. But
That's awesome.
yeah, you should watch it, man. It's a great movie.
All right, throwing that one on the list. I got a list of movies to watch. That one's going right to the top. Then,
There you
favorite pastime other than fighting?
go. Awesome, man. Probably playing PS5.
PS5.
I'm
Favorite
playing that a
game?
lot, yeah. Right now is Black Wukong, that new one that just came out.
Yeah.
So
My
I've been
brother
playing that
plays
a
that a
lot.
lot.
This shit pissing me off, bro, but it's a fun game.
Then we got what is a saying that you like to live by?
My dad told me ever since I was a little kid, man, he said, "You're no one's bitch."
You're
And
no one's
so,
bitch.
no one's bitch. So I live by that day by
Ah,
day.
yeah. Now, other than fighting and boxing and MMA, what is your favorite sport to watch?
Boxing. Uh, shit, man. You know, I'm not gonna lie. A year ago, I found out they had ping pong on the
Oh
zone.
shit.
I've been watching ping pong, man. I don't know any of the names, but if it's on, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, no, those things are crazy. They be whipping the ball at each other. Looks like they're trying to kill each other.
No, it's nuts, man. But it's pretty cool to watch, especially when they get the rallies going. But I'll say ping pong for sure.
All right, now let's transition back to fighting a little bit. Favorite fight of all time?
Favorite fight of all time. I Because I love Duran so much, I'd say Sugar Ray versus Duran, the first one
It's a
for sure.
classic. That was a war.
Mhm.
And favorite fighter of all time?
Roberto Duran.
And then finally, favorite knockout of all time?
I'll say Valdez versus Burchelt.
Dude, that one was crazy. He was on the floor
Dude,
there for a couple minutes.
I remember watching it, and it was one of those like knockouts where I didn't cheer because I genuinely thought that he was severely hurt.
Oh yeah.
Knowing now that he's healthy,
Hmm.
it's definitely one of my favorite knockouts.
Dude, especially when there was the no crowd, so when you heard that punch land, you heard the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, it sounded like a brick. Yeah, that was crazy, man. That was a great fight, but that
yeah.
would definitely be like my favorite. And that
Now,
one
so
is Junto versus the Australian. Um, I just had his name. Um,
who'd you say?
Nakatani versus the Australian. He knocked him out. Pretty
Nakatani
bad
versus
as
the
well.
Australian.
They're brothers. Um, Damn it, I forgot. I'll message you later. But
We'll
yeah,
figure
no,
it
that
out.
was a good one.
Now,
Maloney, Maloney.
oh, okay, yes,
Uh,
yes, 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 yes.
yeah.
Gotcha. Well, so that's everything I got for you. Is there anything that you want to leave the viewers with, like a final message from the butcher? What you got to say?
Nah, man. I appreciate those who are watching the support. I want to thank you for having me on, man. Being one of the the first interviews back. It's always a pleasure to be on
Anytime.
here.
Thank you for
And
being the first interview back.
yeah, thank you, man. No problem. And no, man, I appreciate your time, bro. I know you're busy with college and whatnot, and I appreciate you taking the time out of here to get
Man, you
this
stealing
interview.
all my lines. I'm about to say all this to you. I was about to thank you for your time coming out and doing the podcast with me.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate it.
But for coming out and taking the time out, I don't know if you know, but I sell clothing, and so I'm actually wearing one of them right now. It's my Smoke University, but I got a whole catalog of like Halloween shirts and a bunch of stuff. I'd love to like ship out some free clothes for you and your fiance.
Man, I'd appreciate it, man. That'd be awesome.
Yep. I'll send you all the pictures. I'll send you all the mock-ups, and I'll just let me know which one you want, what size, and I'll send them over.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
All right. And to everyone watching, thank you so much again for watching. I've enjoyed with Tayden the Butcher Beltran. Thank you guys again.
Appreciate it.